Good morning, everyone. So excited to be here with you this morning. It's been a minute since we've had a live event, and I am super pumped about today's guest. Natalie and I have connected online. The beauty of the online space is finding beautiful humans like her, and I've just loved her vibe and loved what she was talking about in terms of time and productivity and really prioritizing joy to bring this beautiful energy to your life, to your work, and to the magic that you're making in the world. So super excited for us to talk today about finding time, because I know for me in the past and for a lot of women out there working businesses and living life, time can kind of feel like it's working against you, that there's never enough, that it's constantly hustle, grind, move to the next thing, like got to be productive at all costs. And I think that is resulting in a lot of stressed out, overwhelmed, anxious women who aren't having the experience that they would like. So I'm super excited for us to chat about some tips and tricks to help these ladies feel more ease, more joy, more energy in their day-to-day. So let's just dig right in, Natalie, and I'm going to throw it over to you and let you dig into what you do best in helping women find this incredible time in their schedule. And what would be like your top tip to share to really help women feel better in their day-to-day?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to come in, speak to you, and getting up so early this morning. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. There are just so many of us that are just firefighting their way through their day. I've been working with women now since 2005, helping them to create the time in their life for things that are important to them. And that came about because I'd been running, by that point, I'd been running my business for 6 years, and I felt like it was just me. It was me that wasn't good enough. It was me that couldn't organize things properly. And it very quickly became apparent to me that it wasn't just me. It was, you're absolutely right, that we just try and just cram so many things into our day that then we just firefight from one thing to another and it does, we don't stop to think why, what is it that we're doing all of that for? So I think for me, the first thing that I work with my clients, and the top tip that I will give to people is, in order for you to be intentional with your time, in order for you to really think about managing time or prioritizing time, is step one has got to be, where are you trying to go? What is the direction that you are currently wanting to go in? That can change. I mean, when I'm 51 now, what I want my life to look like now is very different to what it was when I was 25, 26. So it's not a forever, it's a right now. Because once you know the direction that you are currently heading, then it's so much easier to stop and go, okay, do these things that I'm spending my time on align with the direction that I currently want to go? And I think for too many of us, we're spending a large proportion of our day doing things that don't have anything to do with where we want to go.
Yes. Oh my gosh, for sure. Like you hit it on the head, right? Like that clarity piece, super important, and really being able to tune into it, because I think so many women are just kind of going through the tasks, right? Like going through, like, these are the things I need to get done. Like they have the to-do list. It's like, these are the things I need to get done. But like, does that really align to the life that you want? And really having that bigger picture is super valuable, super important. And I sometimes find that can also be overwhelming for some women to kind of come out and focus on like this huge picture. It's like, oh my gosh, like that feels like too much. So what would you say to someone who was having that feeling of, oh gosh, I can't think of like this huge big picture, like I'm just trying to get through my day? Like, What would you say?
I think we have this natural thing that it's almost become, I think, and definitely in the UK, and I work with a lot of women in the States as well, so I know it to be true across both, is that it's become a badge of honour to be busy. We feel that the busyness, we can't be, if we're successful, we must be busy. If we're busy, that must mean that we're successful. And we're linking those two things. My question would be, what are you busy doing?
Yes.
Because we can't, it's really easy. We could fill 24 hours a day to think, well, I need to do that. I've got to do that. What about that? Oh, I've been meaning to do that for a while. Let's get that on the list as well. But when you actually take a step back and look and go, okay, I'm busy. I'm drowning. I'm overwhelmed. I could get up 3 hours earlier in the morning and still not get it all done. We shouldn't be that busy.
Yeah.
So my question would be, what are you busy doing, and when was the last time that you took a step back to kind of look and go, okay, this is getting a bit much. Let's have a look over the last 24 hours. Let's have a look over the last week. Where were we spending the time? And how valuable was that thing, and how much in alignment is it to the direction that we're going?
Yes. I love that. And I'm with you completely. I remember I did a couple of posts, like these series of posts of like, you're being a martyr. Like you're like giving into like the societal pressure of you need to be busy in order to be valuable, in order to feel worthy, in order, you know, and that you come by it honestly. Like it's been taught to us. It's what's valued. It's, you know, you're getting a pat on the back every time you do a task for somebody, when you do something for somebody. So you come by it honestly, and it's not to say that you can't do those things, but it's, to me, it's always tapping into how it feels, right? Like, how does it feel in your body? How is your experience? Are you having any fun? Are you enjoying it? Because at the end of my life, I want to look back and say, I had a damn good time, and I did the things that really mattered. And I showed up in this energy of joy and excitement and energy, where I really was present in all the things.
Yes.
Right? Because like, it's so, like, when you're in that frantic hustle energy, you're not present. No. And you're not having the experience that you want. So like, if you don't feel the way you want to feel, there's an adjustment to make, and it gets to be really easy. And it's as easy as pulling things out, like really releasing a lot of the stuff, right? Because there's so much of the stuff that just doesn't even matter anyway.
And I think it just becomes a habit to just do the next thing without even considering is, I always get my client to think about it, you're putting it through a filter of, is what I'm about to do going to move me closer to where I want to get?
Yes.
Because very often it's, no, it's just, that's what I've been doing for the last year. That's what I've been doing. And I think you're absolutely right. It's about, how do you want to feel? I think at the end of your life, you're never going to look back and think, you know, I wish I'd have hoovered more. I wish I'd have done more. I think I wish I'd have experienced life more. And you don't need to do, and I think that's the hard thing, is we want to consume everything. We want to do everything at the same time. And I think if you think we've got 168 hours in a week, so if you think of that as little squares, you've got 168 squares to use up each week. That is never going to change, no matter who you are, how much you beg, plead, cry. It's not changing. It's 168 squares. The question is, how are you going to decide, just for this week, how are you going to decide how you're using those 168 squares? Because next week you get to choose again.
Yes.
So it's got to be forever. It's just, right, what is going to have the most impact in moving me forward? And think about, and it's a really interesting thing to do, of thinking, oh, am I prepared to give one of my 168 squares over to doing this task? Because once it's gone, it's gone.
Well, exactly, right? Like time is your only non-renewable resource. Like it's the only, you're not getting it back. It's not coming back around. So like using it wisely is super important, and using it in a way that feels really good. Like not what makes most sense, but like what feels really good in your body, what's going to light you up, what's going to excite you, because that fire in your belly, that excitement and energy in your life really lets things flow easier, and you get more done in that period of time. Like having more fun is actually very productive. Like it's very productive because like you're just in a different energy. You're open and excited and like happier. And you know, when you're doing something you love, time flies, right?
Yeah.
But when you're doing something that you hate, it's like, is this ever going to be over? Like,
yeah, absolutely. And I think we all have to do things that we don't want to do. It's not about that happy clappy and thinking, oh well, every moment of every day has got to be spent doing something that brings me joy and happiness, because that's not a realistic way to look at things. But the majority of our only job or our biggest job on the planet is happiness. That is your job, is to be happy. It's not to be doing anything. We were a being before. I read this yesterday. We were a being well before we were a doing.
Yes.
So actually, it's like, how can you be the best version, or what does the best version of your life look like? And that might be very different to mine. It doesn't matter. It's about you. What does the best version of you look like? And what would your ideal, your perfect version of your life look like? And what are the areas that make up that as a whole?
Yes.
So for some, it might be a parent, some it might be a business, some it might be charity work. Some people, we all have different areas of our life that make it up as a whole. And how much of that is contributing to being happy?
Absolutely. I think for me, what set me free really was this idea of there's always going to be more to do. Like there's always going, there's always, it's never going to end. So you might as well enjoy the ride and make it as joyful as possible, and really bring a different energy to the task that you're doing. Like I used to hate doing certain tasks in my house. Now I still don't love to clean, still not my favorite. But when it comes that time, like I turn on the music and I make it a dance party, and it's like, how can I make this more fun? How can I make this fly by? How can I, and then tapping into the satisfaction I'm going to have at the end is also like really helpful to be like, okay, how is it going to feel when I'm done? And like allowing that, like those things that you don't enjoy, that don't really bring you joy, that you have to do. Like there are just certain things, like the bathroom needs to be cleaned, whether I like it or not. So like, you know, it needs to be done. But the energy that you bring to it really matters. It's the intentionality, right? And when I decided that there's always going to be more to do, but that doesn't mean that I always had to be doing something.
Yeah.
That was really like, oh gosh, like how beautiful is that to be able to breathe and relax and to realize that my life is more than a series of tasks. It's really about my experience, and I want to have the most joyful experience. And that gets to be productive. It doesn't have to be either or. I think that's where it's at, is like, well, if I'm resting, then I'm not doing anything. But rest is productive. Like taking care of you is productive. Doing the things that you love is productive. Like that is.
And I think as well, one of sayings that I've said for a long time, your business or your career is only going to be as healthy and vibrant as you are. So I ran a cleaning company for 18 years, and it grew a lot quicker than I was anticipating it to grow. So very quickly, I was a mortgage consultant before, and then left that job to run my own business because I wanted more freedom. I wanted to be able to be at home more with children. Very quickly, that transferred to, I've never worked so many hours in my life. I was constantly stressed, constantly anxious of, oh my God, I didn't do that. I've got to do this. What about that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when it's very easy for the business to take over you, so instead of you running the business, it's running you. And that can only go on for so long before it starts to affect your health. I ended up with, I didn't know it at the time, but they're panic attacks, stress eczema, just feeling constantly exhausted. And that energy then eventually went into the business that I started, that I loved. I was really proud of it. It was absolutely brilliant. Very quickly turned into something that was just overwhelming and just felt like it had just consumed me completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then that energy then obviously goes back into the business. So I think looking at self-care or looking at taking time out for you is absolutely, it's not just a luxury, it's an essential part of running a business or a successful career. Because if you're thinking about that for long term, you don't just set a business up or go on a career path for a couple of years. If you're looking at this as a long-term thing, then actually you've got to take care of yourself, and it's better to do it from day one rather than getting 5 years in, 10 years in, 5 years in, 10 years in, and thinking, I'm exhausted, absolutely exhausted. And that now you've got to unpick that.
Yeah.
So by going into that as in, no, I'm going to incorporate time for me from the start, then actually that health and that vibrance that you've got then goes into the business as well.
Exactly. Like it's a win-win across the board, right? Like and it feels really good when you're doing it. And it gets to look however you want it to look. And I think that is where people trip up, is because they're trying to fit themselves into somebody else's box.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I have to work out this many times a day, and I have to eat this kind of food, and I have to, there's like this process that they feel like they have to fit themselves in, but no, it gets to fit your life and what you want. And that's what I do, is really helping women find the rhythm that works for them, and the tasks that work for them, the practices that work for them. And some of that takes trial and error, and really, like, so I'm going to give the example of that we talked about while we were getting ready here about me this morning. And so we set this for 6 a.m. and I'm super excited and really happy to be here. But at the same time, now I know that I can't do this at 6 a.m. again. Like, it is not the best for me because I really like a long morning. I like to ease into my morning. I like to take my time, and that is okay. It's okay for you to set your business around what feels best for you. And in fact, it's best because you show up as your best. And your energy is different, and you're excited. And luckily I have the tools and practices to ground myself into this moment so that my energy is still really good. But that's not always the case, specifically if you are struggling with things like stress and overwhelm and anxiety on the regular. You likely don't have those tools to ground you and bring you into your body and to allow you to feel like it's not a force or a push or a hustle.
If you're exhausted, or if you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed or anxious about the zillion things that you've got to do, you can't possibly put the best of you into anything that you're doing. So if you're working with clients, you have to take care of yourself, and you have to do whatever you need to do to bring the best version of you into those client calls. If you're leading a team, you have to do whatever you need to do in order for you to be the best leader that you can be for that team. We can't do it, and I think we try and do it all. I can do that, I can do that, and short term you may well be able to, but long term, you're just, again, going back to the 168 counters. If you're trying to cram 180 squares into 168, you might get away with it short term, a week, 2 weeks, a month. But long term, you're getting further and further into the negative.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the queen of crash and burn. So I would have like this burst of motivation, right? I would have this let's go, let's do all the things, like super fired up, super excited, like motivated, like I'm like, yes, this is how I want to feel, this is how I want to be, this is how I want my life to be. And I would go, 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 go. And then it would be, I would not listen to my body's like cues, and I'd be like, no, just one more thing, just one more thing, I'll just do this one more thing, this one more thing. Just trying to get the most out of that energetic burst. And I would go for weeks, sometimes months with that. And then all of a sudden, my body would completely crash. I would get like chronic migraines, belly issues, like complete, and I would be out. And I would be out for days, weeks, months at a time because I was completely burnt out, exhausted. It was like, crap, like this is not what. And I would be like, why do I do this to myself? Why do I keep reliving this pattern? Why does this keep happening? Like, why can't I just maintain this go energy? And it's because you're not meant to. Like, that is not how it's supposed to be, right? Your body keeps score, and it's eventually going to catch up, and it's actually going to make you way less productive than if you listen to the cues every day. If you're tuning in every day and you're listening, like there are some days where my body is like, no go on work today, you need to rest. And yes, that is frustrating when there's things I want to do because I love my business and I love being in it and I love working in it. So it can be frustrating to be like, no, my body doesn't want to do this today. Like it's asking for rest. It's asking for more water. It's asking for a mid-afternoon nap. Like, you know, but I've learned that I need to honor that and trust that the energy is coming back, and that when that happens, I'm going to get everything that I have left to do done, and I'm going to get it done in less time. And still have time to enjoy all the things. Like, it gets to be a beautiful experience if you let it be.
I think that's the thing as well, by when I was having this conversation last week of under planning your calendar rather than over planning it. So how much white space are you creating within your calendar? Because if you've got a calendar that is literally back to back to back to back every single day, then what are you going to do if things don't quite go to plan? What if you're poorly, or a meeting goes over, or you've got an emergency that you need to deal with, and you've got this back-to-back calendar? That in itself, looking at the calendar, is overwhelming, thinking, where the hell am I going to put this meeting? Because there's no space. So what I do now, and encourage clients to do, is look at white space so that things can move around as and when they need to, because you can plan a perfectly planned calendar. It can look brilliant. You think, yes, brilliant, I've got everything in for this week. That looks amazing. And then you get a Monday morning and something happens that wasn't planned. Then you're looking, going, well, now what? My perfectly planned calendar has now gone completely out of the window because I can't cancel this meeting because there's nowhere else for it to go, or I can't cancel this thing because there's nowhere else for it to go. So then it's like you say, is that you stress yourself out. You're either, oh, well, I have to get up earlier and do that, or I'll have to do that on a Saturday, or I'll have to work evenings, which I really hate doing, but I'll have to do that. Whereas actually, if you create white space within your calendar so that you're under planning your time, then if something happens that wasn't planned, no stress at all. You can just pop that thing in there. You can just move it around. Or if you get the week goes perfectly according to plan, then you can look and go, do you know what? I'm still feeling really good. What else? I can fit something else in if I want to. But it's a choice whether you want to. And it's a Brucey bonus, if you like, that you can add that in. But if not, you can. So on a Friday now, I do what I call Fridays, like my chill day. Which if I'd have thought about doing that, even just a couple of years ago, I would have thought, absolutely not. If I'm not doing enough. But by creating Friday chill day, that's my day of choice. If things haven't gone according to plan Monday to Thursday, I can pop things in there. if I think, oh, actually, do you know what? I'm choosing to get this thing done, or then I can add it in there. Or if not, if, like you said, if I'm just feeling a bit like, oh, it's been a heavy week, I think I just need a bit of time to myself, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just about manage it. And again, like going back to it's only for now. We're all making trade-offs. So if you're looking at going, right, I want to earn 7 figures this year, but actually I only want to work an hour a week. Those two things probably aren't compatible.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a trade-off. Either you're going to lower your expectation of what your income needs to be, or you're going to up the amount of hours that you work so that those two things are compatible. You might think, well, actually, I want Friday chill day. What impact is that going to have on what I said that I wanted in my life?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I want my big thing is I want freedom and flexibility to say yes to the things that I want to say yes to.
Yeah.
Obviously, income's a part of that. But to me, I value that Friday because I know the other end of the scale of working 18, 19 hours a day, I know the impact and I don't want to go back to that world. So if that means I'm not going to earn 7 figures this year, then I'm okay with that.
Well, exactly, right?
That's my choice. Somebody else might look at that and go, absolutely not. I'm going to work 24 hours a day if it means I get to my 7 figures.
At what cost, right? Like at what cost? Like that's always
it's worth it. The cost is worth it to you.
Yeah.
But to somebody else, the cost may not be worth, and that's okay. It's not about making anybody wrong. It's about what does your ideal perfect life look like for you.
Yes.
Because that's all that matters.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. It's always about you and what feels best for you, and allowing it all to line up to be the beautiful experience that you want, right? Like it's about what you want and you having the experience that you want. But you don't have to work 24 hours a day. You don't have to work 18 hours a day to have success, right? And maybe redefining your version of success.
That's a really interesting question of what does success look and feel like to you?
Yes,
because we always think it's got this image of it, but actually, what does it look like? How would you feel, and how would your life look for you to view that as success?
Exactly, and getting really clear on that picture, right?
Yeah.
Getting clear on what that looks like, what it looks like, and what it feels like.
Yes.
And keeping that front and center and asking yourself, what things can I do today to bring that feeling to me?
Yeah.
Because you can't wait to be happy until you get the result. Like the happiness is now, right? Your happiness is every day. And if you want that happiness that comes with that success, then you need to be at that vibration now. Like you need to be bringing those things to you now. So it's like, what tasks can I do that are going to really bring those feelings to me? And this is like one of the things that I bring my clients through is we get really clear on the vision, on the why, on the values that you really want to attract to you. And then we put in the practices that align to those feelings. Like that is legit the work that I do. And we focus on.
I think that's a really, and I've said it myself as well. That's why I was laughing. We say it all the time. When I get there, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
When I lose that half a stone, I'll be happy. When I add extra income to my income, I'll be happy. When I live there, I'll be happy. It's well, what's going to happen in between?
Yeah, right.
From here to there, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely it is. It's about bringing the happiness and the joy into the journey so that you can enjoy the journey. Because if you don't enjoy the journey, will you really enjoy the destination? Because it's been so hard and challenging to get there. And you know, things can be hard and challenging and still enjoy them.
Yeah.
So
true.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like, it
Combination.
doesn't have to be one or the other,
No.
right? Like, you get to embrace the full spectrum of the experience
Yes.
and to have it all, like to have the full and be okay with it all. And because there was a time where I was so focused on, I just need to be happy, I just need to be happy, I just need to be happy, that I would be negating like how I really felt and my emotions and like bypassing all of that, right? So like that's not good either. Like that's toxic positivity. That's not where you want to be. Like it's about feeling what you need to feel, moving through it, listening to your body, and really making sure that the actions that you're taking align to your vision and align to how you want to feel. And that really is the magic. And you don't realize how quickly things can change when you come into that. Your whole experience changes. How you're showing up in your day, the energy that you have, the joy that you have, like everything just flows easier. Like it flows easier when you're in that place. Even with the hard stuff, it just there's an ease that comes even with the challenges.
Well, I think if you're creating that balance, I think very often we look at it that it's a choice. I can either have a successful business or career, or I can have a personal life full of joy, happiness, and fulfillment. Which one am I going to choose? I absolutely don't believe it's a choice. I think those two things can work in harmony with each other, because then I think it's kind of a balancing act between the two, isn't it? So there's sometimes that, like you say, you're going to be spending more time on the happiness and the personal and the fulfillment piece. There's other times that it's like, actually, do you know what? I've really got this thing that I need to focus on in the business, and I've got to go full ball at it for this period of time. But then those two things can work in harmony with each other. It like you say, then it just makes it easier to prioritize the time about, right, be intentional with your time of, yes, I'm intentional with my time, that I'm putting all this time and effort into this business or career at this point, but that's an intentional thing, not just something that you accidentally fell into doing. And then all of a sudden waking up one day going, is this it? Is this all? I worked this hard to get here. And then looking back and going, where did I go? The business or the career has consumed me. It's about being intentional of, yes, I'm going full in on it for the next period of time because we've got this big goal, but I've still got this personal fulfillment, happiness and joy piece, which is kind of feeding that as along the way. So it's kind of those two things can 100% work in harmony with each other.
Yes, and it gets to be really simple. Like it doesn't have like the happiness and fulfillment piece comes from really simple things. Like, moving your body intentionally every day, like no matter what amount that is, like just really, so like moving and really doing something that you love every day, just because you love it, just for fun, just for the enjoyment of it, right? Like really, and just being mindful of like, at each choice that you're making, does this support the life that I want? Does this support where I'm going? Does this feel good? What's coming up for me here? Like really, when you're tuned into your body and what it needs and what it's asking for, it gets to be a much easier experience. Like it doesn't take a lot of time. I think that's the disconnect, is like, I don't have all this time. It doesn't take a lot of time to do those things, but it does, and it makes an amazing impact on your life, on your business, and how you feel every day.
The other thing that I think that helps with that I think, and I'm speaking generally, but boundaries. We're not brilliant at putting in boundaries for ourselves. So that's got a big part to play in the overwhelm bit of, are you creating boundaries in all areas of your life that help you to maintain what it is that you're trying to create?
Yes, boundaries are huge. Boundaries is also part of the work that I do too. So it's 100%. I feel like we could go on and on. Like this is beautiful. It's amazing. I love it. I think I'd like to give you an opportunity to chat about an opportunity that you have for women to really up their productivity and to have more joy. But before I do that, like, are there any final thoughts that you'd like to give?
No, I don't think so. I think my final thing is, see, how can you be more intentional with your time? And don't fall into the trap of, well, it's all right for you, I've got all these things to do. You don't understand, I've got all of these things. I promise you, you can carve out more time for yourself. I promise you, you don't have to be that busy and overwhelmed and drowning under your to-do list. You just have to work away to make that happen. It's possible.
Oh, it's so possible. And you hit the nail on the head with the intentionality. And that's a process that's very easy to put into your life. It takes minutes a day, really, to be intentional. So, yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Natalie. This has been beautiful. And I'd like to give you an opportunity to chat about the opportunity that you wanted to share.
It was really just more a invitation, more so than anything. I get frustrated at the amount of women that are feeling exactly as we've been saying, overwhelmed, drowning under their to-do list, like they've disappeared somewhere underneath their business. So I've created a free hour. It's called the Prioritize and Plan Your Hour of Impact and Focus. Like I say, completely free. It's on the first Monday of each month at 11 o'clock UK time. There's a workbook. You just sign up, and I've given you the link for people to sign up. Sign up for that. You'll then get a free workbook, downloadable workbook that goes along with the hour. And then I will be there 11 till 12 to help support you to work through that workbook. It's not a coaching session, but I will be there if you've got specific issues or struggling with specific areas. Then I'm there to help and to support you with that as well. By the end of the hour, then my intention is that you've got a very clear picture of what you want to get done this month. And that includes all areas of your life, business, you, and personal life, and how to bring more happiness and fun into it as well. But it's very much about taking action. What are you going to get done over the next month to help you to move forward to where you want to go? So it's that invitation that, yeah, come along. If that feels that if that's something that you're struggling with, then come and spend an hour with me and we can get you on the right track.
Sounds amazing. I love it. I'll definitely share the link into the comments when this goes into the group, so that, and we'll make sure to send it out in my emails and stuff as well, because I just think that's a beautiful opportunity to really be intentional. Right?
Yes.
Like it's that intentional piece, like to be intentional with what you're working on. And it sounds like an amazing opportunity. So thank you so much for sharing.
You are so welcome
with us. I appreciate it. And if anyone feels like they could use some extra support in really setting up a plan that works for them in terms of movement and self-care and being more mindful of your choices, then I'm here. I would love to have a conversation with you about what works best for you and your body and your business, and what's going to make you feel your best, because that is the center of everything that I do, is really making sure that you feel your best, that you're going into your day feeling energetic and happy and fulfilled. And so if that feels like something that you could use some support with, I'm here. Would love to chat with you about options that are available. But thank you so much, Natalie. This was absolutely beautiful. I appreciate you coming and chatting with us. I'm looking forward to getting to know you even better. But I just love, and I would highly recommend following Natalie. She has a beautiful presence online and is very sparkly in her aura and how she shares things, which is why I invited her to come, because I was just very attracted to her message and how she loves to prioritize joy in her life. So that embodiment piece is definitely there for you. So you have done the work and you understand how it works, and that's just amazing to see.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend time with you.
Thank you. All right, everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We are here for you. We can connect you with whoever you need, and all the love and light from my heart to yours. Wishing you the most magnificent day full of all the things that you love. We'll be chatting again soon. Bye.